All right, everyone, welcome to another live edition of the Hypeman podcast. I'm your host, Leroy or Leroy. Either way, it's your boy. And I'm here, and we are LIVE live tonight. It is May 22nd, Memorial Day weekend. Your boy wants to say happy Memorial Day to everybody around the world, baby. And tonight we're going to talk about the final two episodes of The Last Dance, the Chicago Bulls documentary, episodes 9 and 10. First off, I want to say this documentary was excellent. Gave you an insight of some of the Bulls players that we didn't know, especially back then in the 90s, man. There was no social media and following people and all that stuff. So it was fantastic to hear all the stories, both positive and negative. That was very fun to watch. I know on Sunday nights I would watch it from I know it would be live from 7 to 9, but I would watch it from 10 to midnight. So your boy's staying up to after midnight, watching it. So excuse me. So yeah, we're gonna get right on into it. Episode 9 was when the Bulls faced the Utah Jazz, in '97. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, the Jazz is the team of destiny." That's what they called them in the '98 or '97 and '98 season. I can't remember if it was the '97 season or the '98 season where the Utah Jazz actually swept the Bulls in the regular season. That's when everybody's like, the Jazz got the Bulls number. It's time for a new Kings of the Court, new champions. And, here in Chicago, we are new, man, please. Now, Utah is formidable now. Come on now. They had some legends, man. The mailman, Karl Malone, John Stockton, Jeff Hornacek, who else they had? Greg Ostertag. Greg Ostertag should get on my doggone nerves. But, he was good. Who else they had? I think in 97 or 98 or both they had Antoine Carr. They had a squad. They had a squad. Much props to the Utah Jazz. In episode 9, let me go first off when the Bulls faced the Indiana Pacers, and Reggie Miller with his trash talking self, Mike with his trash talking self. Them boys used to come to blows, man. I know they had the ultimate respect for each other, but they also hate each other too. That's a love-hate relationship, and I didn't have any love for Reggie Miller, man. I couldn't stand Reggie Miller in the Indiana Pacers during that time, during the 97-98 season. Even though like Jalen Rose said, they were squad up, man. It was Reggie Miller, Rick Smits, Mark Jackson, the Davis boys. They were loaded, man. They were loaded. That squad was loaded, and they honestly, truly believed that they had the better squad. And like Jalen Rose said, they truly believe they had the better squad. Him and Reggie Miller said that, but there was one problem, man. Bulls had that championship DNA, and it was going back and forth. And it showed in the end, man. Once what was it? Steve Kerr? Yeah, Steve Kerr hit that big three to give them the lead in the fourth quarter. And like Reggie Miller said, that was like sharks smelling blood in the water. It was game over after that. They just went on a route. So, yeah, that's the one thing about the Bulls, man. They definitely had a killer instinct. Something that type of basketball I truly miss. Truly miss that type of ball. But yeah, and then they mentioned in the documentary too about Steve Kerr. I didn't realize. I never knew Steve Kerr lost his dad when he was in college. Yeah, he was in college because when he went to the University of Arizona, and I didn't know his dad was a professor, and his dad was a huge activist and all that stuff. And he was saying, he and Michael had those battles in practice and all that stuff, but they had a lot of commonalities, man. They both, they both fighters. Steve Kerr said, "Yeah, I wasn't talented as Mike, but I was gonna fight. I was gonna scrap and claw in practice and also in the games too." So then on uh, that when Steve Kerr said that 97 season, 97, 98, no, 96, 96, 97 season, when the Bulls won their fifth championship on Father's Day, he said that was special to him and of course, Mike as well. So that's something that they both, share, that they never talked about, but the fact that Steve Kerr was okay with having that documented, about his dad and everything. And Steve Kerr was Steve Kerr was a young looking cat back then too, man. I keep forgetting these guys are old, older than us. These guys in the late 40s and 50s, man. These Bulls players. So to see them now, and they all look great to me. They all look great, man. They all take care of themselves, and that's good. But yeah, just to have that commonality with Steve Kerr and Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan finally, like Mike said, Steve Kerr got his wings that day when he hit the big shot for the fifth title that they won, and then after that, man, that was Steve Kerr was one of Mike's boys, go-to guys going forward. So, and I remember back then when I was in high school. I remember back then, I'm like, man, Steve Kerr reminded me of John Paxson. Sure enough, during the documentary, they said that John Paxson took Steve Kerr under his wing, and he was like, and Steve Kerr said that was the guy that he watched with John Paxson, and that he was going to emulate, especially with the Chicago Bulls. Steve Kerr wanted to be, Mike's, new John Paxson. And I knew back then, I was like, man, he just at the right spot at the right time, and he's ready. I said, that's what Steve Kerr is. Steve Kerr was the second coming of John Paxson, which is really cool, man. Really cool how I got to give the Bulls front office credit. I don't know if it's the front office, but I'm gonna say the front office credit, even though some of y'all are like, man, don't be giving them Jerry Boys credit. But I'm gonna give them credit, probably most likely the players too. Mostly Mike and Scotty, saying who should be plugged in and all that stuff. But the stuff that had me cracking up too, man, was actually I wouldn't even say the back and forth between Scott Burrell and Michael Jordan. It was more Michael Jordan just getting on Scott Burrell, trying to break the man. The man wouldn't break. Scott Burrell is a good dude, man. He was sitting there talking like I would hang out with Scott Burrell for sure, but he's a good dude. He's a good dude. I would definitely hang out with him, no doubt. Hey, Paul, Ariana. I see my wife is on. I think Amy's on too. How you guys doing? Happy Friday and happy Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully, some of you guys are doing some grilling over the weekend.
Bring some over.
Yeah, my wife says, bring some over because we are on the. That's my homework assignment. Is to purchase a new grill and have it delivered here. So that's my game plan because we are both missing barbecue. That's for sure. So that's what I'll be doing this holiday weekend. One of the things is doing that, but but when they were going through the finals, this was the in the 90 the 90 97 98. I totally forgot that during the series, the finals against Utah, I totally forgot Scottie Pippen jacked up his back. I totally forgot that. I was like, oh my goodness, I can only imagine, man. Oh, I threw my back out twice. Ain't no way in the world I'm gonna go down up and down the court trying to play. But he gutted it out, and like Mike asked him, he's like, hey man, just be a decoy. um, but 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 yeah, but sorry about that. I was thrown out there for a second. What was I talking about? I totally forgot what I was talking about.
Something about sports.
So open ball, though. Thank you. Yeah, something about sports. Geez. Oh yeah, I was talking about. Oh yeah, Scottie Pippen in his back. Yeah, and they were, showing footage of Scotty, just going up and down the court, just being a decoy. And he played, man. He would do a jump hook in the lane on Stockton and all that stuff. But yeah, you could see him grimacing, just grimacing in pain. It's like, dang, I totally forgot Scotty was having back spasms or hurt his back or something. I was like, man, that had to be painful. That had to be painful. But then, everybody else stepped up and that series ended what? That series ended in 6 games. And man, but yeah, I told and then Mike, and then this is the thing, everybody was like, did Mike push off? Did he not push off? And hey man, I totally agree, man. You can look at that, in slow-mo. Russell's momentum, when people are saying Mike pushed off, but Russell's momentum was already going that way. Mike was just helping him out. Mike was just helping him out. Hey, there you go, man. You want to go far right? There you go. Just hit the shot. So, nah, man. Even Mike didn't even have to push off because he was already going in that direction anyway. So he would have gotten the shot off anyway. But yeah, man, I know a lot of people go back and forth. Did Mike push off? Did he? Yeah, man. Yeah, Mike just helped him out a little bit just to, go in that direction. That's all. But let's see. But yeah, that episode 9 was interesting, especially when they focus on Steve Kerr a bit. That was real interesting. I was trying to figure out where was the tie-in, with that, but I get it. So that made Michael and Kerr's relationship much more stronger, tighter relationship between the two. That was cool. That was real cool to see. And then and I'm trying to see what else. In episode 9 and 10, they all getting blurred in for him. But the last episode, when Mike was exhausted and all that stuff for the 6 championships, and then they finally won the 6 championships. But then at the beginning of that 98 season, all the way, when they were saying that, was it Jerry Krause was saying the Bulls can go 82-0 and Phil will not come back as the coach of Chicago Bulls, I was like, damn, that is messed up. That is messed up. Absolutely messed up. But yeah, for your front office to say stuff like that when the team is just coming off of the 5th championship on their way to 6, and then you're gonna pretty much trying to put the focus on you, because to me it was obviously he was jealous of the players because Jerry Krause always said the organizations win championships, and nobody gave the Bulls organization credit. They gave the players credit. But like they said, Jerry Krause won GM of the Year twice. So he got his recognition, but I guess the man wanted to be up there with Michael and Scotty and Dennis as far as getting the recognition that he thought he deserved. But man, but just to say if the Bulls were 82-0, Phil Jackson isn't coming back, and Phil was already sick and tired of the BS from Jerry Krause and all that stuff, and I don't blame him. But at the same time, I don't blame the players for being upset too. Why do you want to ruin something? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But apparently, he must have never heard that analogy. Because if I was the GM, and I think I mentioned this last episode too, if I was the GM, there's no way in the world I would have broke something up, especially if I got 5 championships going on 6, and then if I win my 6, like they said in the documentary, you better believe I would have went to Phil I done went to Michael Scott, went to all the players, but like if I sign you guys 1 year contracts, 1 even 2 years, I even make them 2 year contracts. If we can get 7 total or 8, let's do it. And then if we don't succeed, okay, then we go ahead and we go our separate ways. But I don't blame the guys. Even to this day, that probably still eats them up. That the fact that, and I truly believe this too, the Bulls would have at least gotten at least one more. they would have retooled and gotten one more. And who knows? I mean, convincing Scottie Pippen, man, Scottie Pippen was sick and tired of Bulls management at that point. But yeah, it would take some convincing from Mike to get Scottie, like Michael said in the documentary. It would have took him some serious convincing, but he would have came back and they would have made it work, and they would probably have to get rid of some guys. But at the same time, Jerry Reinsdorf was talking about guys like Steve Kerr and Ron Harper and Tony Kukoc, their contracts would have been much higher and all that stuff. Man, you would have made it work. You'd have made it work. Reinsdorf's always had that that rep of being cheap. So even with the Bulls and the White Sox, so that's always been Jerry Reinsdorf's rep anyway. Because you ask me, man, Michael should have been making $30 million, even $30 million a year, even way back when, before the last 2 seasons when he was the Bulls, when he made 30 and 35, and I think 37. I think it was the last three years, but yeah, man, it's crazy how that all ended. Like Mike said, it still eats him up to this day that in his heart and his mind, they should have won 7, or at least had the opportunity to, at least battle for it. And I agree with him, man. Like I said before, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you haven't been knocked off the throne, keep on defending. So, yeah, it's just it's amazing, man, how management sometimes can just ruin a great thing, and we all know that. We all know that to some extent, but yeah. Do you guys on Facebook Live have any input on that? With the last 2 episodes, did you guys enjoy it? I know I enjoyed the heck out of it. Like I said before, I didn't watch it live because I wanted to hang out with my family. But once it was bedtime, then I was able to stay up to midnight after midnight and watch them on Sunday night. So, but it was a blast. I had a fantastic time watching it. I got it on DVR. I'll probably watch it again. At some point, see if I can watch episodes 1 through 10 without stopping it. I probably could, man. I probably could. My mind would just go back in that time, man, when I was in high school. So, and that was great times for the city of Chicago and everybody that was a Bulls fan. Period. Yeah, one of my best segments, one of my favorite segments was, of course, the Dream Team, the greatest basketball team ever assembled. Just legends all over the place. And then, that's right, Christian Laettner was on that team. They needed one college player, and Christian Laettner was on there. I wonder if Shaq was available. I don't know. But yeah, oh man, could you imagine a young Shaq with those boys too? Jeez Louise. Coming out of college, coming out of college. If that was possible, my goodness. Let's see what else. Of course, the early stuff with Michael Jordan out of North Carolina and seeing the original shoes and all that stuff, and then fast forward. What they say? How many years later? Was it 9 years later, 10 years later, something like that? When he came back after he retired, came back and then put up 55 on the Knicks, and he wore the original Jordans. But he said his feet and his toes are all cut up and bleeding and all that stuff. I'm like, oh man, that just tells you the how far shoes have come. God, please. But of course, Michael just running off of adrenaline, and he always wanted to put on the show, man. He always wanted to get everybody they all, because he always said that there was, he always wanted that one person who never saw him live to have something to, remember remember him every time that person watched him, either in live or in person, or live on TV. It didn't matter, man. Mike was Mike was the goat. He was the absolute goat. Um, was he was he vicious? Oh yeah, he was. Mike was vicious, man. Man, that had to be such a blessing for one, for being a teammate of his, but at the same time it's like, yeah, we go to practice, and normally practice, you don't turn it up to 11 all the time, but when you practicing with Mike, man, he on the floor, you're like, oh man, I gotta give him my all. It's like, yeah, because if you don't, he gonna call you out on it, and we know, man, Mike got a mouth on him, so boy, he's definitely gonna call you some names though. Even though he tried to do that with Scott Burrell, which had me cracking up laughing. Scott Burrell, he wasn't even phased by it. I'm like, man, this dude, Mike called him, Mike called him everything, and Scott Burrell wasn't phased by it, man. He's like, man, every single time trying to get Scott Burrell riled up, he just wouldn't fall for it. Man, Scott Burrell was a good dude. Like I said, he was a good dude. Man, to Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant coming on the scene in 86. Yeah, I'm like, oh man, them boys look young. Man, Mike looked so young with the hair and all that stuff, and he was doing it back there, boy. And then, but you know what? My favorite though, man, the Detroit Pistons, man. The battle between the Detroit Pistons. That was what, episodes 4, right? 4 and 5, 4 and 5, trying to get over the Pistons, and then finally sweeping them the following year. But man, that's what created the Jordan rules. So, but yeah, just to get beat up and beat down and clotheslined and hitting the ribs, and I remember Scottie Pippen had a big old knot on his head. From I don't know which piston it was, but I remember he had that big old noggin right on his head, a big old bump right on his head. I was like, golly, man. I thought, but it was great, man. That's how it was back then, man. The Pistons beat you up, man. Man, it wasn't basketball. It was a wrestling match. I'm laughing now, but I'm sure them guys in it, they weren't laughing at all. They were pissed off. Of course, the refs, man, the refs back then, they let them get away with anything and everything. Might go to the lane, he getting clotheslined by 3, 4 dudes, and whoo, wait, man, could the players today play play against the bad boy Pistons? They could try. They could try. A lot of them be out hurt, injured, and beat up, and man, it just now dawned on me with all the flopping that the Miami Heat did when LeBron and Bosh and D Wade was on there. Actually, the league was flopping a lot back then. It was getting absolutely ridiculous. Could you imagine all that goofy flopping with the Bad Boys Pistons of the '80s playing? With all that flopping and stuff, they give them something to flop about, wouldn't they? They would definitely give them something to flop about. Oh my goodness! It'd be a fight every night. It would be, but yeah, it was, like I said, it was such a fantastic documentary, man. From Mike in the early years, uh, to the Bulls management finally getting the pieces around Michael to compete. Um, And then, finally getting over Detroit, and then the following years beating the brakes off those boys 4 games to none, sweeping them. And then like I mentioned, the dream team, the greatest basketball team ever assembled. Man, I need to go out there and find if there's any. There's got to be some DVDs on the dream team you can purchase, man. If so, I'm definitely gonna do that. Um, they probably worth some. They probably, not only worth some money, they probably cost some money too on top of it. So that make me think twice about it. But hey, man, I can always look. That's for sure. Always look and see if I find it. And I can tell myself, hey, that'll be a Christmas present to myself one year. Yeah, man, it was a fantastic sports documentary. I know a lot of sports people said that this is probably the best sports documentary that they've seen. I haven't seen all the sports documentary clearly, but I mean, it all depends on what your interests are. If you're a huge Bulls fan, or huge basketball fan, you probably like, yeah, this is it for me. This is it, man. This documentary was great. I didn't have any problems of the timeline jumping back and forth. Like I mentioned before, if you watch enough Quentin Tarantino movies, you're used to that. You used to that style, that whole jumping back and forth to where it was real easy to follow. They would tell you what date it was, and they would jump back, jump back, jump forward. But and then I get it when some people were saying how it would jump forward to be like right in that good spot, and then it would stop, and they would go back. I'm like, oh no, I remember what happened just before they went back. So, but yeah, no, it was fantastic. It was fantastically done. Michael Jordan's baseball career. Um, Jerry Rondorf was saying if Mike would have stuck with basketball, he would have eventually made it to the major leagues. Just because, man, the man's drive and his hunger is unmatched. But I'm happy he decided to come back. That's for sure. Like I mentioned before, I think in maybe 2 other previous episodes that. Being a high school kid and seeing Mike retire, man, I was heartbroken along with the city of Chicago as well, man, because we all knew that man still had a lot more basketball left. But at the time, like he said in the documentary, he had nothing else left to prove. He already won 3 championships. He just wanted to be mentioned with Magic and Bird. So, which those was his 2 boys. He looked up to as coming into the league. He wanted to be on the Mount Rushmore with those guys. So and man, he got there and surpassed it, and surpassed it. But yeah, this was a fantastic documentary. Like I said, I got them all DVR, and then eventually, if my DVR ends up deleting them, that's fine because I'm sure some other streaming service. Well, ESPN Plus has probably got them on there too, on their streaming service. So that won't be a problem watching those again. But man, that was. And thank you ESPN for pushing this documentary up. It was originally supposed to be out in June, actually. Yeah, it's supposed to be out in June. So for them to push it up this early, because I'm sure ESPN was like, well, sports fans need something. We're not really getting ratings, and they definitely got the ratings with this documentary. So, but this was a lot of fun. A lot of pros, a lot of cons. Man, my honest opinion, man, like everybody, especially after watching this, it's like, man, they should never broke it up. Man, why they should never broke it up. I honestly believe that. And I mentioned this before. If I understand, Mike retiring those 2 years, but if Mike would have never retired, Houston Rockets would have never got those 2 championships. So in my mind, the Bulls honestly should have had eight to 10 championships in that whole in the whole entire decade of the '90s. I mean, they were still the team in the '90s, but to win 8 to 10 championships, man. Hey, in my mind, they could have did it, man. They could have did it, but the fact that's unbelievable, man. man, like I said, I wish I was the owner or the GM of the team. I'd be like, are you kidding me? I'm not breaking this team up. Not breaking this team up until the wheels fall off. I'm not breaking this team up till the wheels fall off, baby. I'm sorry, man. As the championships we're winning, the money we making, the revenue we bringing in, the fans going crazy all over the world. No, I'm not stopping that momentum, man. Until we get beat, I'm not stopping that. I don't get it, man. I was sitting there, when the documentary ended, I'm just sitting there shaking my head. This is what 12:30, 1 o'clock at night. I'm still shaking my head, going, "Oh man, unbelievable!" They definitely had at least 2 more championships in them, man. Like Dennis Rodman mentioned, they won 4 in a row. We'll never know, but I can't disagree with the man. I can't disagree with the man because I truly believe him. I truly believe the Bulls would have won 4 in a row. They would have plugged in some new pieces in around the team, and that would have been that. But yeah, and then at the end of the documentary when they said Mike retired and Phil left for the Lakers and Steve Kerr was traded and Dennis was released. Just near naming. There's a few. What happened to a few of the players, but at the same time, man, those players went off and they got paid. That's for sure. They got paid. I remember Luke Longley played with the Knicks before he called it. The coach was with Milwaukee Bucks. Can't remember where. Oh yeah, Steve Kerr went to San Antonio. Yeah, I think Steve Kerr went to San Antonio. Will Smith was already there due to the trade after the '93 season. Yeah. So some of those guys still hung around. I think, Ron Harper went to the Lakers at some point. So yeah, so those guys. I mean, they bring. Of course, Scottie Pippen went to Houston to team up with Elijah Wan and Charles Barkley at the time, and then went off to Portland. Portland Trailblazers had a squad too, but yeah, all those guys, branched off, did their thing, and got paid and all that stuff, and got their money. But yeah, my heart of hearts, man, 8 to 10 championships is running rough shot over the whole league for 10 years, man. That's honestly that's what's playing in my mind right now. It's like there's no way that the Bulls should have had at least 8 to 10 championships. Man, but it was a fantastic documentary. I'm going to watch it again. My wife's going to be like, geez, you watching this again? Yep, I'm watching this again. But, yeah, what do you guys think about the Last Dance? You guys enjoyed it? Ah, gotcha. Okay, Paul. Don't have ESPN. Haven't seen it. Do you have Hulu, Paul? It's on Hulu if you have Hulu. Yeah, it's on. Yeah, it's on Hulu. Let's search for it. Search for the Last Dance. It should be there. If not all of the 10, at least the majority of those episodes should be on there. If it's not episodes 1 through 10, it may be like episodes 4 through 10 or something like that. But you get something. Oh, is it kid friendly? No, buddy. No, it says viewer discretion advised, Jack. Michael Jordan's got he's got a mouth on him, Paul. He got a mouth, and of course, Dennis got a mouth on him. Uh, I think the only ones who didn't curse was what Scotty, Steve Kerr, uh, Phil Jackson, but the rest, man, Mike was cursing some of the guys that they interviewed. He was playing against, but yeah, it's definitely Yeah, it's definitely not kid friendly, man. Definitely not kid friendly. If it's something that you and Amy can watch together, that'd be cool. Yeah. Yep. I had a feeling it wouldn't be just because I watched Michael Jordan's Hall of Fame speech, and yeah, it was good. But it was like, oh, I didn't know Mike cussed as much as he did. But yeah, yep. Not kid friendly. You want kid friendly? Put on Disney Plus, baby. As a matter of fact, speaking of Disney Plus, I did finish Clone Wars, the final season. But yeah, but anyway, it was a great sports documentary. So glad that they did it. I know Mike was concerned about people's perspective was going to change about him. My perspective about him has never changed because I just viewed the man as a basketball player. So, but I'm sure other people viewed him as other things. But I just strictly viewed him as the greatest basketball player that ever laced him up, and that is that, Jack. So, yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this episode of the Hype Man podcast. I know it's early, but your boy's hungry. It's time to eat. But I want to say thank you to everybody live on Podbean, everybody live on Facebook. Thank you so much for supporting your boy. This episode of the Hype Man podcast, this one here tonight, will be on Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Podbean on Monday morning. So take a look out for that. And then you can always reach me at the Hype Man Podcast at gmail.com. The Hype Man Podcast website is also up, live and running. There you can. I've got I think I got 2 episodes per month that are out there so far since January. If you want to listen to my current episodes, or if you want to listen to some of my other ones that go back as far as January. But again, if you want to listen to all my podcasts, all my audio podcasts, just follow your boy on any of those 4 main platforms, and you can follow me there. I love doing this. This is fun. Thank you, everybody, for all your love and support. I greatly appreciate it. Everybody have a happy and wonderful happy Memorial Day weekend. As I know, my wife is laughing at me right now. But again, thank you everybody for the love and support. Have a great holiday weekend. If you're out there grill some food up, and then if you're nearby your boy, go ahead and drop me off a plate, man. You don't have to even put no sides on there. Just put some. Just put some chicken and some burgers and some ribs for my wife. But other than that, we're all good. But again, thank you everybody. Thank you for the love and support. Have a great weekend. Have a great night, and be safe. Thank you.